And then that's when I got a phone call from the Galacticos of Asian football, JDT, which obviously changed my life and changed my career.
So I'm here with one of the biggest names of Malaysian football, Junior Eldstal. Junior, how are you doing?
Used to be. I don't even remember me now, to be fair. I'm good. I'm good. I'm keeping healthy, keeping fit in the situation that we're all in. I'm always half naked as well, but it's because the sun's out. So that's an excuse.
Yeah, how good is the weather?
Oh, mate, it's lovely. It feels like I'm in Malaysia now.
Like I said at the beginning, you're one of the, like with your Instagram following and people in Malaysia, I've been out there with you. You're one of, like, a recognisable guy. How did that come about?
Mate, it's fascinating how it came about. So I was actually the first mixed heritage player to ever represent Malaysia.
Gol pertama Junior Eldstal untuk Malaysia.
And to go over with obviously my mum being Malaysian and that. So I was playing at Hartbury Academy, which is like a university/football academy, and they specialise in sports. So I went there for a year, and I was getting. So it's basically like training full-time football. So you're playing full-time, you're playing against pro clubs. Spent a season there, and in that summer period, you had to do a work experience. Like it could have been abroad, it could have been at home, wherever it was. You had to do like a certain amount of hours doing work experience. My mum, we had a close family friend called Scott Lawrenshaw who lived in Malaysia at the time, and he owned his own travel tourism business, specialised in bringing teams. So he'd like host like football tournaments or tennis tournaments, and he'll bring teams over and they'd stay in Malaysia and he'd host a tournament. So we messaged him to see if I could do some hours going out to Malaysia, and he said yes. Got on a first plane there for the summer. Spent I think just under 3 weeks there doing my hours for work experience. And whilst I was there, he ran like a local five-a-side team, like a local league, and he was like, "Do you fancy playing for my team?" And I was like, "Yeah, go on, I might as well." So we were playing, and he turned around to me after like the first game. He was like, "Oh, you got a bit in you, mate," and that's my Australian accent. And I said, "Yeah, I fancy myself." And he goes, "Have you ever thought about playing in Asia? You know, whether it's Thailand or Malaysia, this part of the region?" And I was like, "Nah, never. Like I've never really followed Malaysian football as of such. You know, I've heard of names such as Safi Saleh being, you know, quite big in Malaysia. Safi Rahim, only because I think they came to Europe for a bit to try for a few clubs. So I think that's where I had the name. But I never really followed Malaysian football as of such." And he said, "Why don't you come watch a local team, Sabah? And you know, if you like what you see, and you can see the crowd." Because I was thinking literally little stand, like non-league football, like 2 or 3 like village, you know, people watching. I didn't think it was anywhere near as big as what it was. Went to watch a game, and I was just like, "What the hell is going on?" Like it was packed, 25,000 people there supporting the local side. Standard was decent. You know, it's quick tempo, but I realised I had a gap in the market because my mum was still Malaysian. So at the time I could get my Malaysian passport and go as a local, because they could only have 2 foreign players per team back then. So you only had 2 foreign players per team. So I had a massive chance. And I asked Scott about the wages and stuff. And, you know, he said it was quite healthy. So he said, "Look, if I organise a trial for you for a club, would you be willing to come back? So go home, get yourself ready, and come back, and I'll call you when the next window is up." So I was like, "Yeah, all right, that sounds good." So I got a phone call around January time. So it's my second year at the academy. I got a phone call at school. Scott, he said, "Look, I've got you a trial, a 1-week trial. Fancy coming out?" Packed my bag, went out, had a shit like first couple of days, jet lag. Like I literally landed. They put me in like a horrible hotel. Like I was thinking, I was like, "What have I got myself into here?" There's me and another trialist, and got there. I was jet lagged. Got food poisoning the first day I was there. Had to then train, and I was absolutely horrendous. And I said to the gaffer at the time, Robert Alberts, who's from Holland, and the team I went out to try for was a team called Sarawak, who were pushing for promotion into the top league. Massive fan base. So I went out there and I said to Robert Alberts, I said, "Look, you're gonna have to, like, I'm not trying to be big-headed, but I need to be comfortable in order to, you know, to get the best out of me during this trial period." So they moved me to a nice hotel, fast hotel, all inclusive. I was like, "Got it." And on the last day of the trial, I scored a hat trick from centre mid. So I went there as a centre mid. I don't know why I fancied myself. I was like, "I'm going to go as a centre mid." Fancied myself as a bit of a baller coming from England. And yeah, so I got accepted. I got a 6-month deal. And literally signed my contract, and then that Saturday we had a game, FA Cup home game, against Kelantan, and that was it. Called my mum, called my dad, called everyone, and said, look, I've signed my first pro deal. I'm staying in Asia, and I literally had one backpack, and that was it. And then 6 years on, now I'm back in England.
How old were you when you signed that first contract?
21. I was 21 when I first went out there, and then within like the first 6 months of being out there in Malaysia in my first year, we won the league undefeated, which Sarawak hadn't done in I think over 20 years. So got them promoted, and the fan base in Sarawak, by the way, that year was I can't describe the atmosphere to anyone. Like a few of my friends flew out and they saw it. Like imagine the whole stadium just being red, and flares are coming out, and you're just in the tunnel, and all you see is red everywhere. And because it was so Sarawak was in Borneo, which is an island, which is separated into Sabah and Sarawak. So everyone in Sarawak, everyone supported this one team, and we had a massive FA Cup run, and it was just I've never felt anything like it ever. But going on from that, I got my first national call up from the under-23s coach first, and then the senior coach called me up from that. So I didn't actually get to play for the under-23s. He literally saw that I got called up for the under-23s and said, "No, you come straight to the senior team." And it was summer. So within 6 months, it was a summer tour in Japan, and there was pre-season games that summer against Barcelona and Chelsea. So you can imagine from 6 months of literally going from academy football, under-23 football, to first team national, representing the whole country against these massive teams. Going to Japan, playing against Japan at 21. It was just surreal, mate. It was honestly surreal. I signed another year with Sarawak in the Super League, and we finished fifth or fourth. We actually had a good run, bearing in mind we just come up. And then that's when I got the phone call from the Galacticos of Asian football, JDT, which obviously changed my life and changed my career.
I was going to say that phone call, for people who are watching this who probably don't know Malaysian football, you explain them as the Galacticos. They pretty much are the Real Madrid of Malaysia, aren't they?
Yeah. I'd probably say they're the Real Madrid of Southeast Asia, in comparison to South Korea, Japan, Thailand, Vietnam. All these teams, they're one of the biggest clubs in Asia to play for. The facilities there, you can't. I guarantee some Premier League teams won't have the facilities that JDT has, and the owners, TMJ, looks after his players, and it was just a magnificent thing to be part of, and it was surreal. Obviously, when I signed my pro for Sarawak, and as much as I was living life as a professional footballer, there was still elements of non-league roots still embedded into the so training, etc. The facilities sometimes weren't the best. When you go to away days, when you go to JDT, it's like I'm a professional footballer. You've got you turn up, you've got the cars there, you've got your kit man does all your boot, you've got everything that's just done for you, everything, and all you have to think about is just football. So yeah, I was grateful. I remember the phone call. I was in Langkawi, one of the islands, on my summer break, and I was just like, yes, that's what I wanted. I actually signed for Selangor first. I don't think a lot of Malaysians know this. So I signed for Selangor, which is going to be a big deal for me. And the contract got voided because they didn't pay my signing on fee on time.
Oh, wow.
And then TMJ called me. He was like, "No, you're not going there. You're coming there."
That's class. And TMJ, you became really close, didn't you?
Yeah.
For people that don't know, can you explain kind of how important he is to that region of Malaysia?
Yeah, so I guess in Malaysia you've got different states, and every state has a royal family. So TMJ is the Sultan's son, the eldest of the Sultan's son, who's the king of Johor, basically. So he's the Prince of Johor. He's a fascinating character. If you were to meet him, you'd probably feel very intimidated. I felt very intimidated especially the first season that I was there. There's a lot of pressure. He demands the best from you at all times, but at the same time, he likes to have a good time with you. And if you give 300% of training and games, you can also have fun. And he's very, he treats you very nice and treats you very good. There was never any payments late like that I heard it from the other clubs, etc. And I guess from being there 6 seasons, winning the trophies that I did do for the club, with the club, it goes down in history. No club has ever done that in Malaysian football. And it's added to my CV. And I think from that, we built a really strong relationship.
You said you went from like uni to being a professional footballer. You went full pro footballer, clothing line, front cover of Men's Health.
Yeah, there's a few dodgy front covers, a few photoshops there. I didn't even recognise myself. If you seen a Men's Health front cover, I didn't even recognise myself. They put so much Photoshop on that. Oh, I'll send it to you. You can put it up. But I didn't even recognise myself. But yeah, no, it was like I said, it was surreal. But without, with all that came a lot of. I was lonely. I suffered a lot from. I didn't know at the time, but I was depressed because I was so far from my family, from my friends, and I felt like I was missing out from so much back home. Even though I was living, I'm so grateful for what I had. I was getting paid while I was doing the job that I've always wanted to do. But there is also the other side of it, which a lot of players probably don't speak about and haven't spoke about. I went through a lot of injuries as well during the time, which didn't help. Put a lot of pressure on me mentally and physically during the time I was playing.
You came back to England. Was that part of the reason why? Because your mental state to regroup?
Yeah, I felt it was the right time to, I missed my brother and my sisters growing up, things like that. And I felt I had enough financial stability to come back and try something new. Hence, I've got a few business ventures now. But saying that, the grass is always greener. I've come home for a year, taken a year out of professional full-time football. I'm still playing a little bit now, semi-pro. But, I miss it. I miss it so much, man. There's not a day that goes by I don't think about playing in front of the fans and, hearing that roar of the crowd and being, keep looking after your body every day because you take all that for granted. When you're a football, your body's your tool. So you're eating healthy, you're exercising daily, you're meditating, you're just looking after your body. When you finish all that, you sort of go into this spiral of, I can eat what I want, drink what I want, but it doesn't make you feel better. In fact, it actually makes you feel a lot worse.
So, would you consider going back out?
Yeah, I was actually, funny to say that, before this whole, outbreak, which is horrible for the world, I was actually thinking about coming back out on the May transfer window. So I know a lot of the Malaysians are going to probably watch this and think, oh no, who's he going to come back to? But yeah, I was thinking about coming back this May transfer window. So I was getting ready for that, to be fair.
Well, I'll keep an eye out to see where you end up, and I'll have to try and give you a call to get out.
Oh mate, 100%.
The hat you've got on is JE, so can you talk about
Yeah.
You've got your own clothing.
Yeah. I've always been into fashion, especially when I was playing football. It was probably a bit of my downfall, to be fair. When I was playing, I used to attend all the events and all the fashion events in Asia, and that's where it comes from. So I started my own clothing line in Malaysia, JE London. Focused a lot on just comfortable loungewear, caps and stuff. It's still online, and I haven't really pushed it, to be fair. But no, yeah, I still represent, and a lot of the Malaysian fan base really supported me through that. So thanks to everyone who got a hat. They are still available. So I was going to say, actually, regarding like obviously the contrast of football between English football and Malaysian football, what I realise when I come home is I speak to a lot of footballers back here, and they don't realise that the market out there is huge. And I think a lot of kids, young kids, try and stay in Europe by going to like Norway, Div 2, all these places. And, some do break through, but I do strongly recommend that, if you've got chances abroad or you've got opportunities abroad, just go take them, because you never know what, where life can lead you.
Well, on that note, I think that's pretty perfect, mate. Thank you for your time.
Cheers. How was your son?
Thank you, mate.
Mate, stay safe, stay home.